episode 11, Truth and or Consequences. It's your boy, I come back with some DC TV, and we're picking up the mantle where Superman and Lois last left off, where Clark had just escaped Bizarro World. He's actually chasing Bizarro Jonathan through it. And like I said, because I'm going to take a victory lap on this, I said this was going to happen. He was going to take his other self and merge the two of them together to become powerful. So he ends up grabbing Jonathan. Jordan actually tried to intervene to protect his brother, but then, Bizarro Jonathan, threw him out the way. And then while he had him and then, the big glowing, ring of vortex thingy showed up, then, he was merging with him. They were merging. And then Clark comes out of the Phantom Zone. Not the Phantom Zone. I'm thinking of Young Justice. He comes out of the Bizarro Zone, and, he breaks the whole thing up. So now, Jonathan, he's upset, and he's just I'll be back. And then he flies away. So now the family's back. And apparently Clark was gone. The episode was called 30 Days. Clark was gone for 30 days. He was in the Bizarro World for 30 days. On Bizarro World, for him, only 1 day went by. He was on Bizarro World for 1 day, so time moves differently. But he also said it could also be in the dead space between the Bizarro World and the current universe. So they're trying to figure that whole thing out. And meanwhile, Clark was getting them caught up on what happened in Bizarro Land, and they were getting him caught up on everything that happened in the real world. One of the things that they brought up was Jonathan finally exposing his girlfriend for being the seller of the ex-kryptonite. And then Superman got upset with him, and I'm like, why are we still talking about this? We're still talking about this. He was just like, why didn't you tell me that your girlfriend was selling the drugs? And he was like, because that's my girlfriend. Why would I dime her out like that? And then he was just like, well, she's a drug dealer. Maybe you should have. And then he was like, see, that's why I didn't tell you, because this stupid secret and everything. He was like, I'm trying to keep these secrets. And then the episode turned into this whole big thing about the family secret, because Clark even told them that outing the family secret on Bizarro World kind of ruined their family between the celebrity and the fame and all this other stuff. So he actually did view it as a bad thing, but he told them about it. Jonathan's whole thing was, he was just like, yeah, but you're breaking your neck to try to protect the secret, because he was just because he said that I lied to protect my girlfriend. He said I kept that secret to protect somebody I cared about. He said, you've been lying for 14 years and your lie is way worse than me lying to protect someone. And he was like, but this lie he said, but this lie, quote unquote, it protects our family and it protects us all. And he was just like, yeah, but on the other world, on Bizarro World, the lie actually, turned out to be a good thing. Well, except for the whole thing with their dad dying. But, so they're going back and forth with that. Jordan's dumbass, he is texting Sarah nonstop. And I'm just like, you just got your ass beat. You were having training with your grandfather. You were having military training with your grandfather, and you let Jonathan Kent whoop your ass. So but instead of him trying to, get back in the gym and work on his craft, he's texting Sarah nonstop, blowing up her phone. And then Lois ends up talking to him, and then she's just like, oh, honey, she's like, you should write a letter and put all your feelings in the letter. This fool, he writes her a letter, and instead of basically telling him how he feels or whatever the case may be, in the letter, he basically told her that he got superpowers. He was like, yo, my daddy's Superman. He spilled the beans in that letter. But he was trying to figure out when would be the right time to give her the letter. Clark, now that he's caught up on things, he didn't argue with his kids and everything, he's looking for Jonathan. But our Jonathan, he's getting the same headaches that Clark has been getting when the Bizarro Superman showed up. So now that the family knows that Jonathan's getting those headaches, Clark even said, he said because you're getting the visions, you can see where he's at. You can see what he's doing. You can see his ins and outs. He said, but the problem is he can do the same thing. So the moment you take a look into his mind, he's going to know our location and where we're at. Because his whole goal is to try to merge with you. One of the visions ended up coming through. Jonathan said he sees him downtown by the diner. Clark goes down there to try to intercept him. And then when Clark gets there, as he sees Jonathan standing across the street. And then as Clark walks up to Jonathan and try to confront him, Bizarro Jonathan, then Lana comes out the diner and he bumps into Lana. And Clark was not trying to talk to Lana. Because again, for Lana, he hasn't been around for 30 days. For him, he just saw Lana like yesterday. So Lana tried to talk to him, but he kind of like blowed her off. He wasn't really listening. And then he told her flat out, he was like, look, I gotta go. And then she got mad and she was like, well, if you don't want to listen to me, fine, Clark, because she had just won for mayor. And he never even asked about the mayoral campaign. He didn't even vote for her, so she got kind of mad that he blew him off. And then she just got mad and she walked away. And then when he turned around, like, Jonathan was gone. So now he's kind of like feeling some kind of way about that. And then he told Lois, he was just like, well, I just bumped into Lana and she told me that you said I was on an assignment in Metropolis for 30 days. And then she was just like, yes, she's like, that's what I told her. He was like, I'm not mad, but he was like, but the problem is, I had to lie to her about the whole thing. And because I lied to her, he's like, he said, one, I don't feel good about doing that, but because I lied to her, it allowed Jonathan to escape. And then the kids found out, and then that turned into this whole big thing. Lana then goes home, she goes home, she's talking to Sarah about Clark, Sarah's talking to her mom about Jordan, because she's like, oh, Jordan's been blowing up my phone. And then she was like, yeah, I bumped into Clark, and he kind of blew me off at the diner. And then after that, like her mama gave Sarah a brand new car, a brand new old car. And then she took the car and drove down to the office, because today was supposed to be Lana's first day in the mayor's office. Lana, then as she's getting her stuff ready, she's getting all of her, like her bags and everything ready, Jonathan bumped into Sarah outside when she was pulling out of the driveway. And then Jonathan goes into the house and he rolls up on Lana and he beats up Lana and knocks Lana out. So now we're trying to figure out, like, wow, we thought you were trying to merge with Jonathan. Why have you now attacked, like Lana Cushing? So, so then we find out the answer for that, which brought back the black people. Thank God. So the Irons family is back and they're, they've been asked to assist, with the Bizarro situation. John Henry Irons, he's trying to fix his suit because, like I said, he's building a brand new suit, which is going to be bigger, badder, faster, and all of the above. But they need a power source in order for his suit to be active. They end up going down to the mines and in the tunnels to try to get XK crystals to power up the suit. While they're down there trying to get the crystals to power up the suit, then Bizarro Lana comes through the portal. Because the plan is Bizarro Jonathan captured Lana so she could merge with Bizarro Lana. And now Bizarro Lana has come out of the portal and she's kicking the ass of the Irons family. She knocks out she knocks out Natalie, she fights John Henry, she whoops his ass. John Henry Irons has got his ass whooped so much this season. It is ridiculous. He gets beat up and then Natalie stabs her like in the shoulder with some XK because XK hurts them because XK powers you up on this world, but on their world it's deadly. So she stabbed her with the XK, and then according to Superman, after they stabbed her with the XK, she ran off and jumped back into the portal. So then after that, then that's when Natalie was talking to her daddy, and then she was just like, oh, this isn't a game, Dad. She's like, we have to do something to stop these Bizarro people because more of them could come out the portal. And then that's when he was just like, yo, I might have an idea for that, but he was just like, yo, peace. He was like, yo, just stay here. He was like, yo, I'm gonna be back. And then Natalie got mad because she was just like, oh, why aren't you telling me the plan? So then she goes and talks to her AI. Surprise, surprise. Not only are the two of them working on the iron suit for John, I feel like Natalie is secretly working on her own suit behind her dad's back because either that or she's going to try to help her dad get his suit powered up. So she's going to go back into the mines to try to go get some more XK, and she's probably going to bring Jonathan and Jordan with her, because she knows their secret and what they can do. So then that's it. But Irons went off to go do his thing. So now he's trying to see how he can close the portal to keep these people from coming over here. Sarah ended up having a conversation with Lois, and then after she talked to Lois, she had mentioned that she saw Jonathan in her parking lot. Lois then left. She went and told Clark, and then after she told Clark went to go look for Lana, and then that's when Sarah came back to Lois's house, and she told Lois that she thinks something happened to her mom because she said that her mom, it's been over an hour and her mom never showed up for work. So that Lois knows exactly what's going on, and she flat out lied to Sarah's face and told Sarah everything was going to be okay and then go back to the office and wait. Jordan's dumbass then tries to talk to Sarah, and after she said that her mom is missing, he tried to give her the letter, and of course she didn't want the letter because she told him 3 times, she was like, yo, this is a bad time. She's like, I don't want your letter. And then he got mad at his mom because he was like, Mom, you told me to write the letter. And I'm like, it's not Lois's fault the letter didn't work. The letter didn't work because this was the wrong time for you to tell her that. Jordan, again, in this entire series, has continued to be the world's biggest dumbass. So, so like so he's upset now because Sarah didn't want a stupid little letter. Sarah goes back to the job, and then I said Clark, he's flying around trying to find Lana, and then that's when Jonathan ends up getting another vision. He finds out where Lana is, and then Superman goes down to try to rescue her. Bizarro Jonathan had rigged an oil tanker to explode, and he had filled it up with kryptonite. So then when Bizarro Jonathan blew up the tanker, and Superman jumped in Lana's way to try to protect her from the flames, he got hit with the excess kryptonite, and when all the kryptonite hit his chest, he fell over, and then Jonathan was like, you can't stop me now. He was like, you can't stop what's coming, and he left so he can go roll up on our Jonathan so the two of them can merge. Lana then ended up pulling the kryptonite out of like Clark's body like one piece at a time. Bizarro Jonathan showed up at the Kent farm, and then he told our Jonathan, he was like, yo, bring your ass outside so we can merge or whatever. And then Jordan went outside because he was like, nobody can stop him but me. And I'm like, yeah, but you got your ass beat like early in the day. See, but now he mad because like Sarah ain't won his letter, so now he's pissed and he wants to take it out on somebody. So the two of them get into a fight. Bizarro Jonathan is whooping Jordan's behind, but then all of a sudden, I guess him being out in the sun for too long, because on his planet they have a red sun, and red sunlight gives them power. On normal world, yellow sunlight actually weakens them. So Jordan basically played a game of rope-a-dope, and he allowed Jonathan to use up a lot of his energy, and then after that, he was stronger than he was, and then that's when Jordan turned the tide, and then he whooped Bizarro Jonathan's ass. Lana got all the crystals out of Clark's chest. Clark flew in, for the save. The two of them fought. Like Jordan won the fight. He knocked him out, and they captured, Bizarro Jonathan, and then like Grandpa took him, to the DEO or the DOA, for questioning or whatever the case may be. So now at this point, and then Superman, he goes back. He finds Lana. He takes Lana home, and this was actually a pretty interesting conversation because when Superman brought Lana back home, they were talking and they were just having like a nice little conversation, and Lana flat out tried to get the super draws. Like Lana, first of all, she's not even divorced yet. Her husband is still around. Her husband is still a factor. And she told Superman, she was like, oh, do you want to come in and maybe have a drink? And I was just like, you were trying to get the super draws. And then, of course, Superman had to say no because, he's married. And then he was just like, oh, but don't you have to, talk to your daughter? And then she was like, oh, my God. She's like, Sarah's been missing me all day. You're right, Superman. I have to go immediately. And then she ran in the house to go call her daughter. And then after that, she tried to get the draws. But so then Superman, he goes back home. And then Jonathan and Jordan, they're talking to Lois, and they're basically saying how keeping the family secret was actually doing more harm than good. And Lois even kind of agreed because she talked to Clark about it. She was like, yo, what are we doing? She said, I had to lie to Sarah. She's like, it's not a good feeling. And then after Superman flat out had to lie to Lana, and because Lana's doppelganger, her evil doppelganger, is on the loose, he was just like, you know what, maybe it's time that I do finally tell her the secret so she can at least be aware of what's happening and she can protect herself. So he went and asked the family. He was like, hey, guys, do you think I should? And they all was like, yep. And then he flew, and he was just like, all right, and then he dipped, and he went to go talk to Lana. So Clark rolls up on Lana. Lana gets out of the car after apologizing to Sarah and not really giving Sarah any answers. And then, he was just like, Lana, I need to talk to you. And then she was like, I don't want to talk to you, Clark. She's like, you blew me off. You didn't even ask me about, my day or whatever the case may be. And he was like, oh, but I know how your day was because I was there. And then she was like, what do you mean? And then he was, then that's when he flew up into the sky and did the freeze breath, and he took the glasses off. And she's like, oh my God, you're Superman. And then so now the beans have been spilled. And it makes perfect sense. Jordan had showed Lois the letter that he was going to write to Sarah, so Lois knows that Jordan intended to spill the family secret in that letter. And to be honest, again, it makes perfect sense because, especially now that Lana's the mayor, and now that Bizarro Lana is trying to merge with her, you can't keep lying to this chick about, the whereabouts and the who's and the what's and what. She's the freaking mayor. She's the mayor. She needs to know what's going on. And it's, like I said, I feel like it's very overdue. But now it'll be interesting to see how they react and whether or not Lana wants to tell Sarah that the Kents are like super people, because she's gonna freak out over that one. So this is very interesting. That's how the episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So, a very damn good episode of Superman and Lois. Like I said, Superman and Lois is the GOAT of superhero TV right now. It's like the #1 show that's out right now, and I'm definitely enjoying it. But share your thoughts and questions down below. Let me know what you think about the episode. Let me know where you think this is going. Does Natalie actually make her own like steel suit? Does John Henry Irons get put on the shelf? Like what's going on with Jordan and Jonathan? Do they eventually merge? Do they not merge? Does Allie come over from the Bizarro world and try to take over? I said, share your thoughts on where things are going to go, and we will talk about it. Hit me up on Twitter and or Instagram, always on YouTube, where you can share your questions, comments, and concerns. Hit the notification bell. Subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already, because we have a lot of good stuff going on. We got the Otakus and Geek Podcast. Check out the Otakus and Geek Podcast with myself, Justin, and Gotham Geek girl Nadya, where we talk about all things comic book, DC, Marvel, anime, and geek related. Link will be in the description for that podcast as well. I said, also hit me up on Instagram and Twitter. Check me out. Let's go back and forth, because we got 2 episodes of Superman and Lois left. We're getting a 30-day break, and I'm just like, yeah, just came back from break. We literally went on a break after they had an episode called 30 Days and 30 Nights. And the show comes back after 30 days and 30 nights. We get 2 episodes, and now we're on another break. Jesus. So we're not getting Superman and Lois until the end of the month after my birthday. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So until next time, check me out for some more superhero action. Because again, I got Moonknight on the channel. I got The Flash. I got Naomi. And we're still doing that Young Justice. So until next time, up and away. And until then, I'm out this. Yeah!